Hello, my name is Stefan from DeepFrames, and in this tutorial I will show you all about the basics of cameras in 3dsMax. So we will cover how to create a camera, what is this free or target camera, how to set focal length, aperture, tilt correction, depth of field, motion blur, and how to set the viewport to a camera. So let's get started in 3dsMax. Here on the right side I have this create panel open. And here I have at the moment activated the geometry tab, and this little icon is a camera, and if I click on this I see here a button called physical. So clicking on this creates a physical camera. After clicking I have to click in the viewport, click and hold, and this creates a camera with a target. And to see all the properties of the camera I have to switch to the modify panel, which is here next to this plus icon next to the create panel. You will find the modify panel, and here I have a lot of different options for this camera. So here I can switch between a targeted camera and a non-targeted camera. So if I deactivate this, the target is removed and I can rotate this camera. If I create a target again, if I want to rotate the camera, I have to move the target around. So the rotation of the camera, at least in this axis, is not anymore possible because it's always looking at this target. So that's the difference between a target camera and a free camera. But usually I work with a target camera, except sometimes in animation I use a free camera. So the next thing is how to set a viewport to the camera. So there are two options. Either you can go here to perspective on the left side, go to cameras and set this camera. So now I'm looking out of this camera, but maybe I will create a box in front of the camera. So we are seeing something, and I will switch back to camera, and now I can use here on the bottom right side these 8 icons to navigate in the camera. So here's this dollying is moving back and forth, and I can orbit around the target with this one. And so I can position my camera. It's very similar to a viewport navigation. So to select the camera again, I can click on this camera and go to select camera. And in the modify panel, I can see now my options again. To change the focal length, I can set here a different number, like 24. Is a great focal length, and I can go a bit closer, and maybe I create a second box now in front of this box because I want to show you depth of field is like when some things in the scene are blurred, so I can activate depth of field here. And if the effect is not strong enough, I have to change the aperture to a smaller number, like 2 or 1.2. And also it works better with a longer focal length. So here you can already see that the purple box is more blurred in the viewport. So depth of field also works in the viewport. So another thing I want to show is the tilt correction. So sometimes if you have a focal length of 24 millimeters and you go very low with your cameras and a bit closer, and maybe even yeah, you can see that these lines here, they are not parallel to the edge of the image. And to fix that, you can press this, you can check this one, auto vertical tilt correction, which is straightening out these lines. This is usually used in architecture and also sometimes in product visualization. This is, I can set this value to 0, then you have these converging lines, or I can auto vertical tilt, and this makes these edges very straight. So the other way to change the camera is like pressing this C key on the keyboard, and if you have more than one camera, it shows a list of all available cameras, and if you have just one camera, it will automatically set this one camera as the viewport. So the last thing is the motion blur. Motion blur only works in rendering, and it only works if the camera is animated. But I want to show you, if you want to enable it, you have to enable this checkbox. So this cheat sheet is again available for free. You can find the link in the description.